Welcome back. This is my preparation project for the Tour de Fleece 2021. There is so much fiber. So much fiber. This is probably half to three quarters of my stash. My primary goals are to get my Paradise Fibers Fiber of the Month kits completed. So there's this wonderful walnut dyed Polworth, and then there is the bio nylon fiber. This is like a biodegradable fiber, and it's got rose and I think that's it, bio nylon and rose fiber. And then there's another colorway here of the same fiber I'd like to get done. Those are about 100 grams a piece. The Polworth is 165. And then the next one I'd like to get done is this Kool-Aid dyed. I originally thought it was Polworth as well, but it's actually BFL. And I dyed it with Kool-Aid with the kids. So I'd like to get that one done. And then there is this Tussa Silk, the beautiful ice dyed fiber there. Whoops, there goes some of the fiber. Beautiful ice dyed Tussa Silk. And then these two here are 50% Gotland? No. Yes, 50% Gotland, 25% Merino, 20% Tussa, and 5% Viscose. So this is the Yin and the Yang from one of the boxes. I can't remember which month. So I want to get those done. And then Under the Sea is this beautiful sparkly fiber, and that is Merino and Stellina. And I'm going to try to add to that for the first time. I've never spun with locks before. I've added them to a blending board, but not add them to a spin. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that or if I'm going to do it, but I'm going to see, just do a little research and try. And then there is, oh yes, this is from the OIFF. This is 100% alpaca, called Bumbleberry Buckle, and it is about 61 yards. I'm sorry, 61 grams. If I've been saying yards, I mean grams. No, sorry, this is 8 ounces. There's a lot of that. 8 ounces of that. Then the Gold Ochre is from the Online International Fiber Festival from Belfast Mini Mills, and that's Merino, and that's a pound of Merino. Lots of that. That hopefully will be a sweater together. I'm not sure if I'll get it all done, but those are my primary focuses. And then if I accomplish that and have more time, I've got all of these braids which were hand dyed. They're Cheviot or Corriedale Cross, And this one is called Seaside Camo. This is Smoke. This is Galaxy. This is inspired by Slytherin. This is inspired by Hufflepuff. This is one called Ocean Heart. This is inspired by Gryffindor. This is inspired by Ravenclaw. I doubt I'll get it all done because that's a lot of fiber. It even fell on the floor. It couldn't stay on the chair. But that's my plan. So I'm going to prep it up, and hope you watch me while I prep it. I start my preparation process by reviewing the cards that came with the fiber in the Fiber of the Month Club box from Paradise Fibers. Next, I look up the breed in my Fiber and Fleece source book by Deborah Robeson and Carol Acarius, and just refamiliarize myself with things like staple length, how they recommend spinning it, and just general knowledge of the breed. Next, I do a little research using my Spinner's Book of Fleece by Beth Smith, and this book just has a little bit more comprehensive spinner-specific information in it. It's got some great photos of swatches and things to give me an idea of how to spin the wool. So next I take the braid apart and take a look at the wool to get an idea of how I want to spin it, how it's prepared. I'm going to weigh out a couple of pieces, one for sampling and one for a crazy skein of yarn that I do at the end of the tour. So I separate the fibers to make it easier to pull the braid apart and get my sections. So this is a section I'll use for my crazy yarn at the end. Then it's time to start sampling the fiber. So I started spinning just straight from the piece of roving that I took off, and I found that it was a little difficult because the roving was so very wide. So I decided to kind of separate it into a couple of sections to make it easier to spin. The crimp in this Polworth is so amazing. I don't know if you can see it in the camera very well, but it's so cool. So the short forward draw method was not working very well for me, and I tried spinning from the fold a little bit, and I wasn't really enjoying that either. So I tried to do a little backward draw, and that didn't work. I finally settled on the short forward draw as the best. And then here I'm taking a little sample to do a 2-ply plyback test and have that for my sample card. And I did like the look of the 2-ply, but it didn't really have the stretch and bounce that I was looking for. So next I tried a 3-ply plyback test, and I really liked the way this turned out. I liked the stretch and the bounce that it had, and that's really what I was looking for. So the last thing I wanted to do was try a chain ply to see if I got the same result. Because this was hand dyed and it was a little compressed, I decided to pre-draft it a little bit to make it easier. It seemed like I was fighting to draft it a little bit, so I tried pre-drafting it, and that seemed to work a lot better. After finishing up the rest of the sample, I decided to do a chain ply test with that single sample and see if I could replicate the results in the 3-ply ply bag. And I did like the chain ply, but it was not as stretchy and bouncy. I think it was a little too twisted. I'm not a great chain plier. So after that I tried a bracelet ply 2-ply and was hoping to get a similar result as the 3-ply, but ultimately I ended up doing a traditional 3-ply with a bracelet ply and one from the bobbin. And that gave me a similar result to the 3-ply ply back, so I decided that's what I'm going to do, is do 3 bobbins and then ply them together. So the next step was putting everything on a sample card. So I had a record of what I had done, and this is an example of my sample card. So next I stripped the roving into 3 sections and weighed them and was able to get approximately 54 grams per ball. So that should give me 3 bobbins of about 55 grams for a 3-ply skein of yarn. So I'll repeat this process with all of the fibers that are relatively new to me and create the sample cards to determine how I'm going to proceed with the tour. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to see my journey on my second tour de fleece in 2021, and I'll see you next time.